Hello again, everybody. It's Harry Boxer, the Technical Trader. It's Thursday night, May the 5th, Cinco de Mayo. Pretty negative day in Wall Street today. Market broke a couple layers of support, and the indices are now at a point where they're somewhat oversold in their key support and then fib retracements, so we may get a snapback at some point. But certain stocks are acting pretty well. We've had some, I'm going to highlight some stocks that did breakouts today and some others that we like the way they look. CBEY Communications, CBEY, popped up with a gap today, opened 14, got up to 1471, closed at 1423, up $1.24, almost 10%, and nearly a million shares. As you can see, the volume was the heaviest. The second heaviest that this stock has traded in about a year. So quite the breakout here across key resistance in this zone here, and up near over next resistance level around the 15 range, traded up to 1471. Now, if it does get through this zone and is able to continue the momentum that may have started today with this price volume surge, my next target, 16 and a quarter a half area. Big day for Cinemark Holdings, CNK, which popped across the April highs, gapped up and ran $1.36 or 7% on $2.33 million. That's the heaviest volume this year, and the heaviest volume going all the way back to June of last year, so significant perhaps. I'm looking at a run now to take it to the top of the channel near 23 3/4, 24 short term. Big day for Domino's Pizza. It jumped 210 on 3.9 million shares, about 11% pop, and you can see the volume here is the heaviest volume since October. Significant day perhaps, but it did get up towards overhead resistance on lateral price resistance and the top of the channel resistance, so perhaps it could pull back in the zone, but if it does break, this is a long-term resistance, an all-time high for Domino's, and it could move into the mid-20s if that occurs. Significant move on the ProShares ultra short oil and gas, with the crude oil down $10 today. The stock continued to, and take a look at this last 4 days. You'll see a strong surge from 25.5 to 30, almost 30.5, about 5 points in 4 days on ever-increasing volume, with 3.1 million shares traded to almost 3.2 million today, up 4%. Now, the key to today's action was that it broke across the April highs. It looks like it could be running towards the $32 level. That's our next trading target for the DUG. EON Communications, EONC, a significant price volume surge, jumping 47% on nearly a million shares. That's unheard of volume for that stock, which is thinly traded. You can see that's the heaviest volume traded since the end of 2009, when the stock was breaking out and running here. At this point, I'm looking for a move to take it to about 3.5, maybe as high as 4 into this zone, when momentum could carry this forward. Keep an eye on it, especially if it gets over today's high of 265. Electronic Arts on strong earnings jumped to $1.76, or an almost 9% on almost 18 million shares today. That's the heaviest volume traded since the first week of February, when it broke out here. That led to this, and I'm thinking that this move here, breaking across this resistance zone, should at least lead to a move up near 24. GENE. Now, didn't have much of an update today. It was up 17 cents, but in a rough market. But note the nice little 3-day flag that's developing a lower volume, while the technicals hold up very well indeed. I don't believe this one's done yet. Intermediate target at 13, short-term target at 960. GTXI impressing us here with a continual, almost everyday move up in the last 2.5 weeks. After this pop here and pull back from about 340 or so, the stock's moved to about 540. So a nice 2-point move over the last couple of 3 weeks. But momentum could carry this to as high as 5 3/4. That's my next trading target. And then beyond that, 8. Up next is Leap. Also popped today, getting as high as 17.34, settled back to 16.5, up $1.47, but up 10% on 7 3/4 million shares. That's the second heaviest volume this year, and the second heaviest volume since August as well of last year. So you can see that the stock has moved through a couple layers of resistance, especially the April high today, and I'm looking for a move to 19, my short-term swing trade target. Men's Warehouse had a significant pop today, up 412 or 15% on 3.9 million, breaking through a key 6-month coiling base pattern. Target 36 3/4, 37. The ProShares ultra short UBS crude oil, SCO, today had a significant move, jumping 716 on almost 6 million shares, or 18%. Now, if we draw in a line across these declining tops, you'll see that a major falling wedge pattern was popped through yesterday and then gapped up through today through the 50-day and up to and near the 49.5 zone, which is my short-term trading target at the declining tops line of lateral price resistance. But with this kind of a surge, we may have seen a significant turnaround in crude oil and the ultra short, which has been down for a couple of years now. So look for more upside with a secondary target once it gets past the 50 range, up around 53.5. Longer term target 59.5. Like the action Select Comfort SCSS, which a couple weeks ago popped with a big price volume surge, pulled back on a very orderly 5-6 day flag, started to move up earlier this week. Today up 43 cents or 2.75%, but the volume surge to the heaviest volume in a couple weeks. It looks like it's going to accelerate here. My short-term trading target at 19. SGI, which we swung trade here and here, then pulled down for about a month. Looked like it was breaking down, but then it's reversed yesterday with a good earnings report. Spiked up about 4 points. Today up another $1.54 or 7.5%, and breaking through resistance. And now looks like it could make it up towards the 25 range, my short-term target. Shortel broke out of its 5-day flag today with increasing volume, popped 45 cents or 4% on over 1 million shares. Looks like it is headed on to my 1250 trading target short term. Silicon Motion broke out of a 4-day falling little pennant or flag, popping 45 cents or 4% on 500,000 shares. Nothing special there other than the fact that the flag may be broken, that the long-term chart pattern still looks terrific. I'm looking for a move to the top of that channel up around 15. That's my short-term trading target. A new one for us, Service Source International, SREV. Yesterday made a nice move, then followed through up to 14.85 this morning before getting hammered back down to 13. But notice the strong surge back up to 14.25, settling in at 14. I like the way this is acting, and I think the stock could make forward progress, particularly in the case of a stronger market. 16, maybe 17, my short-term target at SREV. And lastly today, the ultra short silver ZSL, which we talked about last week and noted the pop through the $16 level, then has exploded from 16 to 24 just in the last 3 days. But it's gone from 12.83 to 24.49, nearly doubling in the last 5 sessions. Heavy volume of 73 million shares today, and with the move up above the 50-day moving average, this could accelerate. However, on a short-term basis, I'm looking for a pullback to test this gap down here around the 20.5 range. And then we'll see what happens. Let's take a quick look at some of the boxer shorts. Broadcom in particular, after this big hit last week from the little bear flag, and today dropped another $1.99 to be exact. Almost 14 million traded, pick up in volume to the downside. And with this downside break and a break through the bottom of the channel, Broadcom may very well accelerate down towards the $30 range, my next trading target on BRCM. Cosan, which is the Brazilian sugar company, broke the head and shoulders pattern, formed a bear wedge, which we noted last week. Ever since then, it's dropped from 12.5 down to 11.25. It looks like it may accelerate down towards the $10 range on a short-term basis. Ensign Group, ENSG, which we noted the head and shoulders pattern last week in the breakdown, has subsequently formed what looks like a bear flag, finding the going quite tough in here. And if it doesn't start to get going soon, it starts to roll over. This thing could accelerate down towards the 23 range, 23.5, something like that, my short-term target for that one. LFT, Longtop Financial, which has gotten hammered of late, down from 34 to under 17. Snapped back with gusto up past 23, but then rolled back, and today was down another 88 cents. Looks like it may retest the lows down around 16.75. That's my short-term target, but if that cracks, we could see this one accelerate down towards the low to mid-teens. Lexmark, LXK. Very negative chart ever since this big breakdown in October. Did snap back in February, formed a big consolidation, and then another gap down just a week and a half ago. Since then, a falling wedge, which is, I might add, and a bearish trend is not a bullish pattern, although it could snap back at some point. If it accelerates here, would not be shocked to see this down around 28, 29. Oshkosh, the truck and vehicle manufacturer, OSK, has clearly broken the major trend line, snapped back to it and the moving average and the declining tops line, and then rolled over hard last week. And this week has also formed a declining wedge or channel here. Let's call it and right now, with resistance up in this zone, any movement up there would probably be a short, but at this point, I would look for more downside, particularly if the market continues weaker here. Look for a move down to 28 on that one. Rent-A-Center, with a big gap and big negative day last week, has moved back up just slightly up to 31 and 40 from about the 30 range, but I've got to tell you that this whole package to me, this whole formation looks like a bear flag, and I'd be looking for lower levels. Let's look for a test of 28 up next. And lastly is 3D system, TDSC, which appears to be a topping. Came down hard, broke the trend line. Moving averages are rolling over and crossing over, and this little 3-day bear flag does not augur well for the stock. Perhaps we see a little bit more upside, but at some point I believe this rolls over and gets down into the high 20s, low 30s. And that's it for tonight with long and short ideas from thetechtrader.com.